Alright. Welcome to Blue Pill Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Today's episode may be a little bit of a conspiracy corner. We're getting into some symbolism. Actually, honestly, these have been Blue Pill Podcast episodes, the past 3 that we've done. This is going to be another Zelda episode. Possibly the last Zelda episode, at least for a little bit. I know. My Conspiracy Corner fans are probably like, what the fuck? Why is this dude just putting out nothing but Blue Pill Zelda shit lately? I'll tell you why. I've been in a good mood. I'm in a good headspace. Not that I love conspiracy theories. But when it is literally consuming my life, I do know that it puts me in a darker headspace. I get a little more angsty. I get a little more defensive, like I should be fighting, these people. And it's just dystopian, black-pilled almost. It's just not good to do nothing but conspiracy all the time. Hence why I created Blue Pill Podcast. Here lately, I've just been really into Zelda. It's what makes me happy. I enjoy talking about it. So, that's what I've been covering a lot lately. And this isn't the first time either. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I took a long hiatus from podcasting because I had some personal stuff going on, some family issues, that lasted a while, and I was not in the right frame of mind mentally for months. I had something pretty bad happen. And then when I did come back, I just put out a shit ton of game reviews. That's all I was doing was game reviews for the longest time. Blue Pill Podcast, And I kept telling people I will get back into conspiracies. But yeah, I didn't need a break from podcasting, but I needed a little break from conspiracies. But this will probably be the last Zelda episode for a while until I beat the current ones that I'm playing. I have one in a shop right now, the original Link's Awakening. I'm going to play and beat it, and review it. I beat DX, Link's Awakening DX, and I beat it and reviewed it, but I'm gonna play the very original one. I'm playing the second quest of Zelda, so I will be playing and review. Once I beat it, I will review it. And then I'm working on unlocking the Zelda LCD game for Game & Watch Gallery number 4. Once I get on it unlocked, and I'm going to review it and stuff. So yeah, I've just been into Zelda lately. I'm still watching conspiracy stuff. I'm still reading conspiracy stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a conspiracy theorist, but I will get back to it. So, as far as updates, I just kind of chilled out the rest of the day yesterday. I put out 3 podcasts yesterday. If I have a day off, like Sammy's working right now, I got up a little early. It's 5 a.m. It's August 2nd, 2026. I figured I'm going to knock some podcast out because it's pitch black outside right now here in Kentucky. I do have to fix the roof. The guy, he did do his job, but he did even say, you're probably going to need multiple coats. So I still have some. I'm going to have to climb up there and put a coat on, but I'm not going to today because we're supposed to get more rain, and I want it to be able to dry. and not get ruined by the water and rain. So I'm not going to be doing that today, but I will be weed eating and trimming up the branches next to the roof because it looked like it caused some damage to the roof during like either snow or just bad thunderstorms. So I will be going out there with a ladder and trimming that up. So I got a little bit of work to do today, but I got to wait on the sun to rise. But yeah, I figured I'd put out some podcasts for you. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will snail mail you a Conspiracy Corner podcast bookmark. I will sign the back. Unless you don't want me to, you can message me through Buy Me a Coffee. And honestly, at this point, it's helping me pay for roof damage, helping me pay for a hospital bill I got over here. Just helping me, you know. I don't put anything behind a paywall. I'm not a bum. I'm not a grifter. I do have a full-time job. My wife works full-time, so. But, you know, it is free entertainment, and if you guys feel like you want to donate, you can. It helps. It helps me. Everybody's struggling. The economy sucks. And I don't feel bad for, you know, putting it out there, because it's like, hey, man, I've put in 11 years of content creating, you know. So today's a Zelda episode, and here lately, the past 3 episodes, we've been kind of doing, instead of Zelda reviews, we've actually been doing kind of like Zelda history. So as a kid, this kind of blew my mind. And it's like not really an urban legend, but like in the 90s, we didn't have the internet. Not that we were stupid back then, but we were just kind of ignorant, and we didn't have a wealth of knowledge like right there. If you wanted to research something, you had to go to the library and go and look at the Encyclopedia Britannica. There's a swastika in Zelda, and we're going to get into why. So if you don't know, I believe it's the 3rd dungeon. And actually, let me see if I can pull it up. Each dungeon is shaped like something. Here's the actual map of the dungeon, an overview. So swastika. And I remember as a little kid, and my brother's like looking at the dungeon map going, why is there a swastika in Zelda? What the heck? So the swastika is a very misunderstood symbol in general. Let me see though. Let me pull up the dungeon map designs. So it is a little hard to see, but in the first Zelda, this is what the maps are supposed to look like. They're supposed to represent, like, one's an eagle, one is a moon. The moon one's actually pretty accurate. The eagle one's not too bad. Some of them look nothing like it. The Manji, which is a swastika, we're going to get into that. Lion. So each dungeon looks like some sort of monster or creature, you know. A snake. There's one that looks like a snake. You know, and yes, it's like cube base, and it's Nintendo, so it was kind of hard to do the design, but the swastika was obviously easier. I mean, it's a pretty easy symbol to do, especially with squares. But let's get into the not so sinister origin and not so sinister reason. Why did they put that in the game? So that time, The Legend of Zelda had a dungeon shaped like a swastika. The Legend of Zelda is a classic action-adventure game on the Nintendo, the NES, created by Takashi Tezuka and Shigeru Miyamoto. It was a bold new take in the genre, and it has obviously been a massively successful game series and brand ever since. However, there is a dungeon in the original game with a very peculiar shape, and to the untrained eye, it looks to be a very dangerous symbol. That's a little ridiculous. Yes, do symbols invoke something in people? Yes, but to call it a dangerous symbol, And here's something kind of conspiracy corner related. Sam Tripoli says it all the time, and I agree with him. The elites take beautiful symbols and invert them. And that's occultism in general. The Manji, for one, is reversed from the Nazi swastika. It's the opposite direction. I think it means like goodwill, good luck, shit like that. So reversed, it would be like bad luck, you know. There's a whole conspiracy that the reason the Nazis lost is because they literally walked around with bad luck symbols over everything, you know. That is one conspiracy I've heard. But they invert everything. So like the spiral, you know, that's not a, with Pizzagate and shit, everyone's like, oh, that's a pedophile symbol. It's not, though. I mean, pedophiles use it, but it used to not be that. It's actually a very ancient sacred symbol of basically the spiral of life, of the universe. The Fibonacci sequence, God's fingerprint. Look into the Fibonacci sequence. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on it. It's literally God's fingerprint of like everything in life has it, like flowers, water, like everything has the Fibonacci sequence. It's fucking insane. It'll blow your mind. Smoke some weed before you watch it. There's a whole documentary on it that's just mind blowing. You know, the cross, you can like invert it upside down, St. Peter's cross technically, but we're gonna do a whole episode on that. But they take good symbols and invert it and make it evil and dark, and I think, I mean, for one, that's occultism 101. Inversion, you know, duality, you know, white, dark, you know, white, black, you know what I'm saying? These people are evil occultists. So of course the swastika, a beautiful, good symbol, got inverted and used for evil, you know. So, but to say it's a dangerous symbol, that's a little bit overreacting. Hidden within the world of the original Legend of Zelda. This is the time that the Legend of Zelda has a dungeon shaped like a swastika. Released in 1986, 35 years ago this year, I'm not sure when this was written, but the original Zelda was met with great reception and became one of Nintendo's best-selling titles at the time. And actually, I was watching a documentary last night. The second one was actually like the 8th best-selling Nintendo, original Nintendo game ever created. It actually sold really good, and that's the black sheep of the Zelda franchise. Like, people say it's the worst one. I actually like it. I know, I'm a weirdo. I reviewed it, but yeah, Zelda 2 was actually a hit too. That's why whenever they had re-released original Nintendo games on Game Boy Advance as classics, Zelda 2 was on the list, and that's the copy I have, is a GBA classic gray cart, because it was a top seller, you know, even though it actually got really good reviews back in the day. Now it's like, people are like, this is horrible, you know. But gaming was different back then. So when it comes to world design, the first game has some of the most unique and fun designs of all the games in the series. Not only is the overworld wonderfully laid out, but there are even some fun Easter eggs hidden throughout, like how the first 5 dungeons of the second quest spell out E-A-L-D-Z in that order. However, if you rearrange them, it spells Zelda. Neat, right? Which I'm actually experiencing that now. I didn't realize until like second dungeon, and I'm like, wait a second, this is spelling Zelda. It's their letters. Well, there are neat Easter eggs, and then there are questionable ones. And you know, when it comes to that time articles, we talk about weird stuff. When you play through the game naturally, the third dungeon is shaped in such a way that the Western audiences were taken aback when they initially saw it. It may be a little shocking to see, but please continue to read in order to understand the origins of this design. Level 3 in the original The Legend of Zelda is shaped like a swastika. And considering the date the game was released, this does seem a bit odd. However, there is definitely a reason, and it is one laced in religion and culture. Which is very interesting because they took out, we did an episode, Link is a Christian. Go check that episode out. They took out a lot of the Christian symbolism for Western audiences. They didn't want to offend them, but you would have think they would have changed the swastika, but I don't think they were able to, because here's the thing. All the dungeons actually fit together like a puzzle, and the reason why is because it was for memory space on the cartridge. A lot of people don't know that. Hence why there is an overworld and an underworld. That was, yes, it sounds cool for the story, but it's actually partly because of memory space, you know. Throughout Asia, the swastika is a symbol used in many religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Even the word swastika comes from the Sanskrit language, svastika, and it means conducive to well-being. Oh, conducive to well-being. India, see, it's like a positive symbol. India particularly is littered with this symbol. I would have used a different word than littered, but you know. And it means different things depending on the religion. It has like a negative connotation a little bit. It even found its way into Indo-European religions, so for literally hundreds and hundreds of years, this was and still is a powerful icon for many. However, the religion that applies to this story is Buddhism, as this is the only major religion to migrate its way into Japan and staple itself as the religion of the Japanese, particularly Zen Buddhism. I know that Christianity is actually kind of big in Japan because of the Jesuits. We did an episode. I don't remember if we covered the Jesuits. We've covered them in passing. I know we did a Black Samurai episode. That one is like one of the only episodes I am not proud of. Like, I completely fucked that one up. The audio sucked. Yeah, it was just not a good episode. Swastika is such a staple in Buddhism in Japan that it is even used as the symbol for Buddhist temples throughout the country, as seen in the screenshot taken on June 8th, 2021. So, yeah, they use it to show where temples are too, so this is like someone's map with the swastika. I think it looks cool, and I don't even mean that like to be edgy or anything. It honestly is a cool looking symbol. Even as like a kid, like I remember my brother playing like Wolfenstein, or every now and then you'd see like a white supremacist with a swastika tattoo, or I'd see like footage of Nazi Germany, and I'm not even trying to be edgy. I'm really not, like, but there's something about it. It is a very powerful symbol. When you look at it, you're like, man, that kind of looks dope. It just looks cool, you know. But I mean, it's just sad that it got taken and inverted and made into something evil, you know. Not that symbols themselves are evil, but you know what I'm saying? That evil was done under a reverse swastika. So the swastika, okay. Yeah, they use it for symbols to show where the temples are. You can see the Buddhist temple in Yino Park in downtown Tokyo still has the symbol used to mark its location. Japan plans to eliminate the use of the symbol on its maps over time, but there is a huge debate on it. I don't think they should. I think we should take back the power and take back the symbol, you know. There's a guy that I used to work with he worked for Coca-Cola, and his family was like, I can't remember, they were something like Nordic or something like super white, and their ancient family clan symbol was a swastika. It didn't look exactly like a Nazi swastika. It had like curves to it, but he had a tattoo of it, and somebody confronted him one day. He's like, "Is that a swastika on your arm?" And he's like, "Yes, it is. It's my family crest, you know, and it's not what you think it means, you know." And he explained it to him, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." They're like, "I was just a little worried you were like some Nazi," and he's like, "No, I get that a lot, you know." He didn't hide it or nothing, but he knew the actual meaning of it. It wasn't a symbol of hate. It was a symbol of his heritage and his family clan, you know. Um, he had to enlighten them. Japan. Okay, so the original Legend of Zelda instruction manual even had the icon within its pages, but Nintendo has since removed this page, and it is no longer possible to see it in the online instruction manual catalog. That's stupid. In Japan, and normally Nintendo is very anti-woke for the most part, but I don't know. That's just dumb to me. In Japan, the icon in Buddhism represents the auspicious footprints of Buddha. In Japanese, the character is pronounced Manji, and it is represented with the arms pointing to the left. However, throughout all of these Eastern religions, the symbol commonly faces both directions. So, okay, I was wrong. I always thought that the Nazis inverted it. I guess that they use it both ways too. Interesting in Eastern religion. So, by the way, like, I am an occultist. I do study the occult, but I study, honestly, Western occultism. There is Eastern occultism. I'm more into Western. And a lot of the stuff is totally different in Eastern. So, like, symbolism. Like, let's take a fox. Over here, a fox in Western occultism is like a trickster, you know. Over there, it might be something completely different, like something beautiful, you know. It's a lot of their stuff is like totally reversed from Western. So, however, throughout all of these Eastern religions, the symbol commonly faces both directions, but it always lays flat in a square shape. The Nazi swastika is often mistaken as the same, but its symbol is represented by a right-facing clockwise direction, and it does stand diagonal and diamond-shaped. So apparently theirs is always flat. The Nazis was diamond, if you remember correctly, which is interesting. So he did tilt it. And I don't think most people realize how deep into the occult the Nazis were. Himmler, dude, was an occultist. There's occultism and all that stuff. Like the SS, that's literally runes, like rune magic. They were trying to bring Nazi Germany back to like neo-paganism. You can look at old parades where they had like women with ivy crowns and like flowing, you know, flowing white robes, like riding on horses with like swastika lances and shit. Like they were bringing Germany back to paganism, back to their original religion. I mean, the Nazis were tied into the occult like deep, and people don't realize that, and they don't show it too much on mainstream History Channel or National Geographic. They don't really mention it in school that much. They're just like, these people were bad, they were eugenicists, they were evil. And it's like, okay, well, what's all this weird occult shit? Oh, we don't talk about that, you know? I think that's a key element of something. Why is it so hidden? Why is it so occult? You know? It is unfortunate. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. It is unfortunate that Nazi Germany has tainted this otherwise peaceful and prosperous icon. But Westerners really do need to understand that this symbol is not owned by the Nazis. Its history and ties to Asian religion and culture is rich and goes back at least 2,500 years. So it's ancient, you know. So to try to erase this wonderful symbol from the world would do a disservice to billions of people. However, we are also well aware that the Nazis used it for evil, and the existence of neo-Nazis keeps the diagonal version of the icon flying around from time to time, haunting people's memories. When Miyamoto and Tezuka created The Legend of Zelda, though, they were simply thinking with Japanese minds, and the Easter egg was meant to be one to represent a famous symbol within their country's Buddhism. The icon within the game has nothing to do with the Nazis, so we should never attempt to connect these dots. It is just sad that an ignorant Western audience will see this and immediately think of one thing and one thing only. I agree. So, here's the thing, too. We covered yesterday, actually, I think it was not last episode, but the episode before. I will link it down below. Miyamoto and Tezuka, it sounds like they're very big into symbols in general. I've always said throughout my Zelda episodes that Zelda in general is very occultic. The thing is we covered the Triforce. So go check that episode out, and I'll link it down below in Spotify. On Spotify, you can put related episodes. You get to choose 2 of them, so I will put it down there so you can click it. And by the way, go check out, if you're on Spotify listening, go find me on YouTube. Just type in Conspiracy Corner Podcast. You can find me. My profile picture is literally my face. Smoking a cigarette, you know, a little angle shot. But I have a Zelda playlist on there, and I make there's tons of playlists on there, so that way it's easier for you to find and click on. Yeah, we covered the Triforce. Like, a lot of people look at that and they automatically think Zelda. In a weird way, it reminds me of this swastika thing. Like, when people see the swastika, they think Hitler and Nazis. When people see the Triforce now, they automatically think Zelda, but it was actually the Hojo clan. And we covered that yesterday, so go check that episode out. So Tezuka and Miyamoto, it sounds like we're very big into symbolism and symbols in general. I mean, they use the Hojo clan Triforce, they use the swastika Manji. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Did you know? I've always wanted to, in general, with Conspiracy Corner, do an episode basically talking about the true meaning of the swastika, in general. And it's kind of crazy. The peace symbol is actually a rune. And I think, I may be wrong, but from what I heard in the conspiracy community is, so Aleister Crowley designed the peace symbol, and it was Winston Churchill was like, the Nazis are using this occult symbol, we need to have our own occult symbol. So he went up to Aleister Crowley, who was a double agent for Germany and England. Some say he was a spy for both, playing both sides of the board, which would not surprise me. Crowley is such a scumbag. Smart as fuck when it comes to the occult, but he was a scumbag. So he came up with the peace symbol, which we'll have to do a whole episode on it, like the occult roots, the occult meaning. Some say it's an upside down cross with broken arms. I don't know, that could be a Christian urban legend. Some say it's a rune, which I do recall that rune with the circle around it. It's a very occult symbol, though. And supposedly, from what I heard, it was created by Aleister Crowley. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I said, let me know if you guys knew that this symbol was something more beautiful and not so evil. Y'all have a good day.